Okay, before I start the video, I just wanted to say that some of these facts are speculative and might not be 100% true, but this is the story of Portal as I know it. So Cave Johnson is this guy, and he formed this place called Aperture Fixtures. They made shower curtains for the military and stuff. And so the guy got rich and decided, hey, I'm gonna buy a fucking salt mine, so he did. They spent some time turning the place into their underground facility before Cave decided that he wanted to focus on science, so they renamed themselves to Aperture Science. They focused a lot on physics, they created test chambers, and made astronauts, war heroes and Olympians try them out. Also, Johnson had an assistant named Caroline, so remember that. So eventually they start to develop something called the quantum tunnelling device. This is the portal gun. They mostly focused on making test chambers for this gun in Test Shaft 9. So all of this is going on, and Johnson realises they're losing a lot of money and they have no product to release. Eventually Cave has to declare bankruptcy due to loss of money. This leads Cave to start picking up homeless people off the streets and run tests for him. He paid them to participate and even offered more money if they agreed to be disassembled and reassembled in the name of science. Eventually Johnson agreed to include child orphans, mental patients and old people into these tests. A few years later, Johnson spends a crap ton of money on a haul of moon rock so he can develop this mobility gel stuff. He couldn't afford it, but whatever, he got it anyway. Eventually he learned that it works perfectly as a portal conductor and started working on it being turned into conversion gel. But sadly, while this was happening, he got ill and began to die. Because of lack of funds, Johnson made it mandatory that everyone working in the facility must take part in the test chambers now. So, Johnson is dying and, well, he doesn't want to. So he gets his employees to work at a computer system that can store his consciousness. He stipulates that if he died before the machine was done, his assistant Caroline would become CEO and her consciousness would get uploaded instead, even if she didn't want to do it. Johnson died just before the system was finished. The system was named GLaDOS, standing for Genetic Lifeform and Disk Operating System. So the scientists get the system working, but every time they turn it on it tries to kill them, so they shut it off again instantly. But they don't give up. They attempt to change it by adding varying personality cores to the system. Most of them fail, so they all go off into storage somewhere. One of these was actually Wheatley, who later got the job of looking after the humans in the Extended Relaxation Centre from Portal 2. Eventually GLaDOS claims she no longer wants to kill, she just cares about science and experiments and stuff. She says that she wants to perform an experiment on the Bring Your Cat to Work Day using cats and boxes, which is Schrodinger's cat. All she needed was a little neurotoxin. The scientists saw this as fine as long as it was for science. Now fast forward to Bring Your Daughter to Work Day, and GLaDOS is ready to be activated. They turn her on and bam, she's locked down the facility and is filling it with neurotoxin, killing many people. Survivors of the attack managed to fit her with a morality core that prevented her from using the neurotoxin ever again, but she is still a mad killing machine they can't turn off. GLaDOS used the survivors as test subjects in a permanent testing cycle as an attempt to beat Black Mesa in a race to portal technology. She lost this race though, as there was a whole Black Mesa incident that led people to forget about the survivors left in Aperture. So years pass and all that's happening is constant testing and death. This time there was a guy named Doug Ratman who was a programmer that managed to avoid being caught by GLaDOS due to his paranoia brought on by schizophrenia. He's the one that puts all the writing on the walls. He gained access to the personnel files of everyone captured and looked into all of the psychological profiles of rejected subjects. He eventually came across Shell, hoping that her stubbornness and determination will allow her to defeat GLaDOS. Ratman changed the roster and put Shell at the top of the test subject list. Apparently GLaDOS didn't notice this and carried on as normal with Shell as her next subject. From this point on, Ratman continued to hide and survive as GLaDOS did her thing. So far we have the story of Cave Johnson and GLaDOS, as well as some stuff from Ratman. Based on some things in the game, there's speculation on what happened to Caroline with GLaDOS and the whole storyline to Shell that needs to be covered. In this picture here, found in Portal 2, drawn by Ratman, it shows what I assume to be Caroline being stabbed by a pole as the other scientists choked to death on the neurotoxin in the background. This could be GLaDOS claiming the consciousness of Caroline at the Bring Your Child to Work Day. There's also this picture of Cave and Caroline standing together with what appears to be a child in the background. This is speculated to be Shell. I'll cover more of this in later videos, as well as where the story could go after the events of Portal 2 leading into the storyline of Half-Life. Thanks for watching.